Okay. So has had a day.
One thing, let me stop from my end and you can just start the recording. Give me a minute. Okay, Pavan, you can continue.
Okay.
Can you just try from your end, the recording started or not?
Yeah, I think yes, it is started. Okay. Okay. So let me set the agenda very clear. So
Hello.
hi all. Yeah, sorry.
Pavan, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, please continue. You can mute all. Whenever there will be any query, they raise their hand. Can you mute and all, please?
Okay. Second, I am not sure how to do that. Can anyone suspend participant? Yeah. So hi all. I have muted all. So if anybody wants to have any questions or clarification, you can raise your hand so that I can able to help you out in that context. Yeah, is that clear with you? Type yes or no in the chat box. Anyone? Anyone? Can you able to hear? Okay, thank you. Okay, so myself, Pavan, I have around 14 plus years of experience in the digital experience platform. And right now, the agenda is very set clear to RTCDP and then the CDP functions. So today's main agenda would be around 1 hour of the duration. So before I start up with what I can able to deliver. So first of all, I will introduce myself, then the quicker agenda, and then moving on to the concepts, and then what kind of a day-wise covering will be there, so that I will be finishing off the introductory call in next 15 minutes. And after that, the main concepts and then the practical exposure. And what has been discussed, so we will be coming to that. So somebody has raised your hand. Yes, I have given you access.
Yeah, Pavan. Yeah. Pavan, we are getting a reflection of your screen. I think there is a sun at the background, so there is a reflection.
Okay. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll switch off that light.
Just trying to connect.
Meeting has locked the host.
I hope it is clear right now. I hope it is clear right now. Hello. Okay, thank you. Let me start. So my name is Pavan. I have 14 years of experience in terms of the DX, and so working with RTCDP and then the Adobe technologies from past couple of years, like 8 years from now. About my experience in detail. So I started my career way back in 2011. So we take a company called CTK Soft. And from there, so I have moved into OMAC and then head of the MCOE in Adobe, and then head of the marketing function in ENY. And so I led around technical and project management teams of Apple in Apple, then Boston, Discover, and US Bank Analytics into the BFSI sector as a whole in Cognizant. And they're right now so working with you on the RTCDP training. So and so first of all, so I would like to introduce like, so I have worked with 29 clients in the past and none of them have been delivery failure. And I can able to assure you with the same exposure and then the kind of an practical environment. So where I will be explaining you each of the concept in a practical way with the use case scenario, how to implement that step A, step B, step C, and work with you in order to make you accessible to the environment and then the kind of a futuristic environment, and implement the project as an individual contributor. So that is what the main scope of the training would be. And so coming to the agenda of today, so I will be taking 20 minutes theoretical about the CDP and how it will be working around. And before coming into the overall agenda, so I would be sticking to the today's session deliberately. And then I will be sticking on to the overall agenda. So what has been discussed and then how I can able to do the hover by topic, and how I can able to do the screen share access within that you, and then how you and your team can able to access the environment and then do the kind of a kind of an what we call walkthrough on the session. Yeah, walkthrough on the environment that we have created. Yeah, so sounds good, right? Can we start? Hello. Yeah. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen. Give me a minute. Where is this? Share your screen. Okay. I think my stream is shareable right now. And so today I will be working on with you on today's agenda, what is CDP and how far the CDP will be helpful. And then the use case scenario of the CDP, theoretical for just 15 minutes. After that, there will not be any theory or anything likewise. So completely it will be on the practical exposure. And coming to the overall agenda that we have discussed, I request you, Pradeep, to share the overall agenda over to the screen so that we will be inlining, and then if there are any questions, so we can able to sort it out right now itself. Hello, Pradeep. Hello. 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 Can you, hello? Hello. Hello. Can you able to hear me? Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Okay. Okay. Fine. Can you please share the TOC, please? This is my office system. Okay. Fine. Fine. I'll do that. Hello. I have removed the lock access. Uh, if anybody can able to share the agenda for today. So the overall TOC. Yeah. This system doesn't have access to my personal email ID. That's why I can't able to open my personal email ID over this in this system. Yeah, as it is connected to VPN. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Pavan.
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're logging
Hello?
the
Hello?
chat.
Hi.
Hello,
I
can you hear
have.
me?
Yeah. I can able to hear you.
Yeah, so what I request to the host that not to, in fact, block
Okay.
unmuting. Okay, even chat is disabled, so nobody even can send any message or say anything if there is a problem. Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. So whosoever is host basically can do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Pradeep, can you please share your screen and then start to show the overall agenda, please?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Pavan, give me a minute. I'm just sharing the TOC.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry because this is my office system, so I could not able to access the Gmail or any other environmental access in this system. So that's why, yeah.
So no worries.
Yeah.
So I think my screen is visible, right?
Yes. Yes. So this is what, so on the day one, so today we will be discussing about the topic called Adobe Experience Cloud and then how RT-CDP plays into that and then how the CDP concept. So I will come in from the basics to so my way of the teaching will be around, I will be coming to the level one of the training, so that will be the basics. Next is the advanced, so I will be increasing the proximity and then the training of that. And then the third thing is the advanced level where it will be coming into the kind of an use case scenario and the elevation towards the practical environment. So this is way of my style. If you are not adjusted or if you are not able to understand, please feel to contact me for any kind of a thing and we can able to talk it out on that. Yeah. So today the topic will be what is an experience cloud and then how the CDP will be playing into that. What is the role of the CDP, customer data platform? Why Adobe AEP? And what is the futures that we can able to expect? And then what is the visitor behavior that we can able to expect in terms of the Adobe? What for Adobe AEP is used, for what significant it will be used, and then what for the Adobe cloud ecosystem will be playing into that. Even though we have a lot of ecosystems like Google or any other like segment CDP, there are a lot of CDPs in the market. Why Adobe has been a monopoly player, and what kind of a features and functionalities that we can able to expect in the RTCDP, and from the business perspective, what is the main difference in between the RTCDP B2B versus RTCDP B2C? Okay. And so the use case that I will be working around is I'll be explaining you around the use case within the reach and how to implement the RTCDP over to that. And I will be also explaining how that RTCDP is helping my project and then what is the use case that I am going to achieve in terms of that and how we are unifying the customer profiles. What is the data architecture for that entirely? So we will be discussing the day one will be 15 to 20 minutes of the theory, and then from there it will be completely practical. Yeah, completely practical with the use case and along with the business, and then the futuristic kind of a thing, what you can able to implement, what kind of a career demographic, and what is the breakthrough that we can able to expect. Yeah, so this is what it is. And so today my line of the topics are architecture, data ingestion and processing, what kind of a data storage and data lake that we can able to implement, and the real-time data processing and streaming, and security and compliance consideration. So today security and compliance, so I'll be expressing what kind of a things that we are going to achieve and what kind of a policies that we are going to. So it is of completely today you are going to understand the RTCDP as a whole, and you will be understanding the use cases that you can able to deliver, and the kind of an information about the RTCDP, and then the CDP technologies, what for the CDP can be used, or else what is the benchmark of utilization, and then what problems the customers can able to identify, and then how you are going to solve this. Yeah, so this is what we are going to discuss for today, and entire slides and everything will be shared to you. Slides I will be sharing to you today itself, but recording needs some time because I need to adjust the recording and then remove all the security parameters of my recording. So but like my username, and then the what we call that company ID, and then I will be cropping that, and then I will be sharing it to you over to your email, or the organizer will be sharing to you later. Yeah, that is what. So any doubts on today's agenda?
Oh, it's a pre-text one. The
Sorry.
pre-decided, please. It's been pre-decided. Please carry on.
Okay. Sorry. So can you please come to the day two? I will be giving you high level of the day two. So the day two will be the data sources and unified, how to unify the data sources, and then what is the data quality or the data preparations that we need to do, and then the types of data sources. And then I'll be explaining you about the integration tomorrow. Okay. And so what is the data client, data cleansing, and then what is the ETL framework that we need to use, okay, according to the data layer of repository. And then I will be showing you a sample use case and how to do the data cleansing before sending it to the Adobe environment. Yeah, and then there I will be explaining you about the travel agency or any other that will be on the sandbox, and then I will be explaining you the kind of an ETL framework that we will be using, and then for one or two functionalities I can able to show you, and then your participants can able to take the remote access, and then they can able to work on the sandbox. Yeah, so the day tree will be, yeah, come to the day tree. And tomorrow onwards, there will not be any theory. Just I will be sharing you the links in order to understand. And so it will be of a Google Doc, how to do that. And it will be completely practical. There will not be any theory or any slides from tomorrow onwards. Today only we will be having 15 to 20 minutes of slides followed by the practical session. Yeah, please come down, please. Pradeep?
Yes, Pavan.
Yeah, please come down. Come to the day tree. So here I will be explaining about the labs, and then how we can able to do that as a together, and then the holistically. On the day three, we will be telling about the data modeling, and then the XDM. So today also you will be understanding the XDM in a nutshell, but you will be hands-on in depth on the day three. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
Please allow me to, I logged in from outside. So can you please allow me in this meeting? Few want to join. There are few members who want to please allow them.
Pavan, can you see someone is waiting in the lobby?
I am not sure. Okay.
Just
Can you
click on
please
the.
remove all this because yeah, no waiting room and everything else. Remove all this. Yeah. Anybody can able to join. Anybody can able to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, please. That would be great.
That permission I already given.
No mute, no nothing. So anybody can able to do. Anybody can able to log in because meeting is very important than these things. Yeah. Okay. So I think there is no this thing, right? Like any blockages. All can able to log in and all can able to join, right?
Yes, Pavan. Yeah, you
If
can.
anybody wants to talk, so they can able to unmute themselves and then they can able to raise the hand and then
Perfect.
talk it. No problem.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, host, for helping me on this. Yeah, there should not be any challenges in the mirror from now onwards. Okay, on the day three, so we will be explaining about the data modeling and then the experience modeling, that is the XDM. So where I will be explaining about the topic and then I will be sharing only the links of the other links and then you can able to go through it. And so the theory, if you want in detail, so it is available on the experience.adobe.com helpful site, and I will share all the links with including the notes. That is how to do that, how to inject, and then what is the kind of a source injection mechanism. So I'll be sharing all these documentation, and there will not be any fancy slides because I want to dedicate myself to the more of a practical exposure than giving a kind of a scenario in a slides format. Yeah. Come to day 4. And today you will be learning about the XDM. So in a nutshell, and in the day 3, I can able to assure you, you can able to do your own XDM model and then you can able to benefit from that. Yeah, so and then I will be explaining about the financial institution where I have invested in the Apple environment and then the kinds of scenarios that we have done and how to use that and then how to implement that marketing campaigns. I will give you a sample use case by using the GID that we have created and then you can able to work on it. Come down, please. Come to day 4. So here is the data injection pipeline. So how to prepare the CI/CD pipelines and then the kinds of a configuration that we need to do. And so it is of a basic workflow that we will be setting up and how to do the real-time injection mechanism in order to do that and how to implement in a real time. So that is of the day 4 where it will be coming under the practical exposure and the links will be shared to you. Yeah, please come to day 5. Day 5 is of more of a kind of the techniques in order to realize according to the data behavior and then the kinds of an predictive analysis that we need to do and then what kind of a time what we call what is the kind of a object modeling or the time modeling that we can able to do in RTCDP and then the time series modelings that we can able to do for each of the specific use case, and I will be preparing 2 to 3 use cases for your entire team so that they can able to work on the silos on that and then submit an assignment to me later on. Okay, and I will review and then provide an feedback when I have some time over it, or else you can able to upload that in your drive folder and I can able to see and then provide a uh, constructive feedback mechanism, or else you can able to divide yourself like 3 to 4 members or 5 members, you work on that and then you can able to provide me the case files so that I can able to provide the constructive feedback. Yeah, so the decision is lies to you and how to do that. Yeah, and the use case I will be explaining you each of this, and then the day 6 will be the journey orchestration where I will be implementing into the AI ML journey. Okay, everybody will be capable of that, and then before prior to day 6 I will be providing you some of the documentation which acts as an fundamental to day 6, and then your team has to study that documentation before coming into the day 6, before entering into the day 6. Okay, and that documentation will not take around 30 to 45 minutes of your team time, so that it will be productive. So instead of going into the theory, I can able to go into the practical directly. Yeah. And I will be explaining about the subscription model where I will be helping out. And then the next days will be around the activation and then the channel integration, where I will be explaining you the audiences and then the kinds of an activate, what kind of an audience, and then what kind of a mechanisms that we can able to do in terms of the functions, and how to do that with the external channels. I will be showing you one real use case where I have implemented, and then I will be giving in one use case how to do that, so they can able to come with the documentation. Your team can able to come out with a documentation, and they can able to upload in Drive folder or anywhere or email, whatever the channel is, and then I will provide the constructive feedback. Yeah. And day 8 will be the around the privacy and compliance. Okay, where I will be explaining about the HIPAA and then the compliance laws, and then basically I will be entering into your environment, you provided access, and then explaining the real-time scenarios and how that kind of a methodology is. Before prior to day 8, I will be sharing you some of the documentation on the laws, and then the GDPR consent mechanism, and then the one trust mechanism. So how we can able to implement that. So your team can able to go through that, and then I assure you it will not take 30 minutes of your team time in order to study the documentation. And I will be dedicating myself into your environment and then helping out in terms of that, because I don't want my environment rules to be studied by other clients. So on the Privacy and Compliance Act. So I will be requiring your environment. Anybody can able to share your screen, and then I will be explaining on the screen mode. Yeah. And day 9 will be advanced features and integration, where you will be well expertise with the AIML complexity of the real-time CDP, and then how to inject that, and then which are the project is, or which are the product is, you can able to do it, and then we can able to have an hands-on. Okay, on day 9, day 10, and day 11, so dedicated to 15 to 20 minutes of the hands-on will be provided to each one in the sense a chunks of 3 to 4 members, and then they can able to ask the doubts for 5 to 6 minutes, and then 3 batches will be covered within this 15 minutes timeline. Yeah. And then the day 11 will be the review on QA, and here I have taken 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours as a sort of bandwidth in order to do that feasibly enforce if there are any questions, and then if there are any backlogs, so that will be covered under the day 11, where I will be providing the schema creation and the kind of and what we call the use cases, and then the benefits of your over the screen. I'll be completely reading your environment and then explaining you your whole project, how it is implemented, and then what is the kind of an architecture I will be studying from your team, and then I will be explaining to the whole members. Yeah, just it's a kind of an view orientation session, so where I will be explaining you or how the project is working, what is the architecture, and then how that is working out. I need help from your team or whoever has done the architecture. Just share me that architecture diagram so that I can able to explain them in a realistic way. Yeah, there ends our 11 days, where I have taken whole as a 1 hour buffer for me in order to do all the backlogs if there are any. Yeah. Any doubts on this? If there are any additions, so we can able to have it in a backlog, and we can able to make it a session as a productive. Yeah. I hope everything is clear from my side. Yeah. Thank you, Akash, for confirming. Okay. Next, I will be taking 10 seconds break and then sharing the screen and then starting what is RTCDP and then the kinds of this thing. Yeah. Okay.
So Pawan, can I stop the sharing access?
Yeah, you can stop the sharing access and I will be sharing the access right now itself. Yeah. Just allow me 10 seconds in order to search that file. Yeah. 1 second. Just allow me 2 seconds. Yeah, I have. One second. 'Okay, let me share my screen and then start proposing in that. Where it is sharing option. Okay. Just I thought that I am in a client meeting and so somebody has came to me and said, okay, hey Pavan, okay, mine is like in real time use case. And then I will be, instead of going into the TD directly, I will be explaining you the context and then how, what kind of a things that we can able to do. Okay, so mine will be on the star schema. My training will be based on the situation related star schema. So where I will be explaining you as per the situation. So I will be only proposing the situation where I am and then helping you to understand the technical concepts instead of going into the direct detail scope and how to do that. And then I will be explaining you in the practical exposure. So that is getting your attention with a timely manner. Yeah. Yeah. So let me come back on this. Okay. So the approach is, okay, your marketing team in your company has some kind of a marketing insight hub where you are saying that, okay, you need to do this strategy, okay, before a client comes to you and state that, okay, so hey team of Samsung, so I have this R&D project which I have a website and then all types of a customer data, and then so I need to really implement and then understand so how this data is. I have lot of ample amount of the data, historical data, whatever the data is I have. Okay, I don't have any kind of a meeting and then from the business perspective, and I want an actionable insights on my data. Okay, so here is the problem statement that arise within your marketing team, and then they are saying that I want to study the customer. Okay, how that is useful, and then what kind of an what kind of a insights that your team can able to do, and what kind of a proposal that you can able to give before coming into the prod, product. First of all, you need to need for significance on how the data is, and then what kind of an operational insights that you need to do, in order to meet the criteria of the client and then turn the data into actionable insights. It may be in number of different sources, or it may be into the raw data or whatever the data is. I hope everybody is understanding my technical jargon, right? Good. Anybody cannot able to follow? Hello?
Pavan, so far so good.
Yeah. So thank you. Okay. So here, what your client came to you and said that, hey, Samsung team, okay, I have a lot of data and I want to derive the actionable insights from your team. And what I want is my marketing team has to implement some kind of actionable metrics so that I can able to understand the data and then come out with a kind of a improvement plan, okay, for the next year, and then increase the efficiency of it. So increase the efficiency by doing some kind of a research or some kind of an action. So here in the strategical input, so somebody of your leadership team will be sitting with the marketing team and then understanding what kind of a KPIs is, and then before implementing of RTCDP, this is what they will be doing. Somebody will be sitting on the data practice and then what kind of a data is, and then they will be structuring the use case methodology and then coming back with the product. Okay, this is the kind of a thing. And next is the executive summary, so where they will be understanding the kinds of an use case and what kind of a thing, and then they will be understanding the problems that are associated with the current client mechanism. Okay, the marketing team has identified that, okay, there are three kind of a problems in the data. One is inefficient reporting, next is unoptimized strategies, and then the platform migration. They are using multiple platforms, whatever the platforms is, but all the platforms doesn't have the seamless of the data. One may be having DDMM but others might be having YY DDMM. And then it is on what we call the data is mismatched and unmatched, and then the data silos are being fragmented. We call it as a fragmented. So such that they cannot able to connect the data, and then they cannot able to get that feasibility of approach and understand the structure of the data. For that, what they want to do is, okay, first of all they have to understand and then they have to emphasize what kind of a silos it is, and then they want to penetrate into the data, and then they want to understand the kind of a nomenclature, and then what kind of a manual reporting is there right now, and then what kind of a limited actionables that are there in order to justification. Next is the justification case, where we have to understand from the platform perspective. So okay, these are the kinds of a problem this client is having. Okay, what might be the framework, what might be the what might be the platforms that they are using. So we will be noting it all down. So might be you will not be involved in that, but your team like BRS team and then the data or whichever the team is, your project team or leadership team will be taking this kind of a discussion, because I want to you in a streamline of the context and then come to where your implementation will be, so that it will be well signified in that. And then from the client, so you can able to understand the kind of a data, and you have to propose a mechanism. Okay, as an SME you need to propose a mechanism such that RTCDP or CDP will be working as a data layer approach. Next comes into the implementation, right? So first of all you need to understand the significance, where it comes, who is the owner, what is their job, and then from their job, so you can able to derive that. Okay, next is like you need to understand from that and then derive a kind of a mechanism and provide a kind of a use case methodology what you can able to bring in if you are implementing the RTCDP. Okay, and my team or the Samsung team will come to the client and say, hey, I can able to combine your multiple status, and then whatever they have told, whatever they have told, the business team or the client has told, okay, just we are driving out the answer to that. Okay, the answer to that, just we can able to combine the multiple sources, and then we can able to combine the all the legacy platforms into that, and I can able to manage all your cross functional work, whatever it might be. So your team, the leadership team, will be addressing this clientele issues, and then from that problem statement to your state, okay, they will be coming to that, and then they will be proposing to that, and then come into a kind of a client mode. Okay, therein the project comes to you, okay, as an individual contributor or the platform architect or architecture, then the project will comes to you. Okay, next stage is, so you will be understanding, and then you will be coming out into that, so what kind of a things, and you will be asking your leadership team or the clientele team, so what kind of a data silos that you need to implement, what kind of a privacy and security that you need to implement, what kind of a content velocity into that, that we can able to do that, what kind of a personalization. These are the common context that you will be taking into, and then you will be asking the kind of a thing. So these all questions will be addressed in the practical session, don't worry about it. Okay, here why I am stating it is, I am taking the situation where I am right now in a client meeting, and then helping the Samsung team to go there, and then I am helping the benchmark to set the benchmark, and then comes into the kind of your job. Okay, before coming into the job, so you need to understand the historical background and what kind of inputs that you can able to do, and then prepare an assessment, because all my practicals or all my these things will be, you will be doing that, I will not be doing anything. Okay, so that's why i I have structured in such a way that I am right now handling a client, and then I am proposing this kind of a schema, or proposing this kind of a structure. If there is any hindrance, or if anybody cannot able to adjust, or if there is any feedback, welcome. Yeah. Okay, so and then where you will be is, you will be implemented in the knowing the right step. Okay, the person who is like an what we call SME, or who will be implemented AEP in the organization, will be implemented in this is what. Now coming into the CDP. Okay, so your team can able to do that, and your team can able to come to that. So this is just what kind of a challenge that one client is facing according to the use case scenario. You can go through this slide later, and whatever I have given, what is the approach methodology, or what is the justification, you can able to do it. But I will be coming back in the later sessions how to implement that. As of now, it is not a theory, you will be understanding it in depth in later. Yeah, one is on the challenge, what are the challenge that they have. Just what I have given is the kind of a scenario, and according to the scenario, so they can able to implement that justification. Yeah, now coming into the scope. Okay, so all your client problems are being understood by your team, and then you need to propose. Okay, any doubts until now?
No, Pradeep. All good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now your client may be any of the industry or anything else. First of all, you need to understand, okay, the kind of a data or the approach, what is the strategy behind it, and then what kind of a data transformation that you need to do, and then what kind of a proposal that you need to give to that at a right hinder and right steps, make that data into an actionable insights. Okay, your role, okay, your role is to ensure that the client gets the data platform accessible to the customer, and the customer can able to align his business requirements or the KPIs according to your implementation, and then do whatever the data activation strategies are there, and then implement the data strategies at the scale in order to get an organized data behavior. Okay, and understand the customer persona in detail. Right. Okay, now customer data platform. Okay, your team has suggested a lot of approaches, and then all the meetings have been done, and the client has asked, okay, Samsung team, Okay, I understand. Okay, these many problems. What is the solution for this? Okay, can you please tell me the solution? Okay, now your team or your Samsung team will come and then pitch in the CDP concept. Okay, customer data platform, and then okay, okay, you like why CDP? Okay, next your client will be asking why CDP? What is the use of this CDP? Why not I can use this data into the Excel formats and then I can able to do it or whatever the things. So now you need to explain them in a nutshell why CDP? Why CDP? Okay, CDP is the answer to all the problems that the client has facing around. And so what is CDP? That is the customer data platform. Customer data platform in general, customer data platform in a theory. Okay, it is like understanding the customer and understanding their experience and stitch it together and then provide a platform of access with the data connected experiences. It's called the CDP, right? So might be in a simple general word, CDP is customer data platform, where it is a platform where we will be understanding the customer, what is their activity, what kind of a collaboration that they are doing, what kind of an engagement that they are doing, and what kind of a channel preferences they are doing. That is, it provides the actionable and then the true source of what the customer is doing with the benchmark of the data. Okay, with the benchmark of the data, by utilizing the data, so we are going to derive an factual statement what he is actually looking for. Okay, that is the platform where we can able to utilize and attribute that to the business decision. So I hope my general statement is working rather than the technical jargon. I hope everybody can able to understand the CDP concept.
Yeah, Pavan.
Yeah. Okay. Next comes. Okay. Now, okay. Client has came. Okay. Okay. I have lot of data. Okay. You said that the CDP is coming. Okay. And what what is that? Now he might be the business or he might be what we call a data person or he might be technically sounds or he might be the sales. Okay, now coming to the communication. Okay, now coming into the communication, your leadership and then you will be sitting together with the client and then making him understand what is CDP. Okay, now you will be stating that data is the fuel and that makes the engine work. Whatever the your channels has the data like prints or events, whatever the data is. Okay, so I will be getting the customer and then I will be preparing the relations to the data, and so I will be stitching around the data by using the CDP platform and then provide you a kind of an actionable matrices, right? Like whatever the multi-channel is, so I will be providing you this kind of a thing, and then you will be preparing the POC, right? You will be preparing the proof of concept. So this is the stage where the client can able to understand so what your capability is, what your maturity is, and then what that you are going to suggest to the client. Okay, next comes into the platform. Okay, first you have generalizing it with your problem statement. These are the answers to that, and then this is what teams can able to work, and from that the CDP, the technical jargon will be coming into that. And then there might be a lot of platforms like like there are like segment CDP, like Adobe AEP or whatever the Google BigQuery. There are a lot of platforms. Okay, which one is working for this client, so you need to identify. Next comes into the platform. Okay, next comes into the platforms. So until that, so it is like understanding the behavior of the client and then proposing the kind of a thing, and then comes into the your technical jargon. Now your job starts. Okay, so before that it is an history, and right now it is your turn to turn that history into a successful venture. Yeah, I hope you are very clear on the job. Any doubts? Are you connected to my way of teaching style?
Yeah, Pavan.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Now coming into that, okay, next is the architecture, okay, of the client, how to do that. You will be understanding what kind of a data silos is, and then you will be proposing an architecture. Okay, you may be proposing, or else somebody will be proposing that architecture. This architecture depends upon the kinds of the environment, and then the kinds of a client to client biases. Here is the sample that I am giving for this client. Okay, what I am going to give is like the data is there, and then we will be doing the data integration, and then we will be integrating the customer data platform, and we will be implementing the Clover ID. Okay, Clover ID is something that we will be implementing, and then we will be doing the cross channel attribution, and we are setting up an ETL framework through Contour, and we are setting up in the channelization, whatever it might be. Okay, whatever it might be. So we will be understanding the data, and then we are proposing it. Next comes into your individual contribution role. Okay, so this is the kind of a thing. Okay, what that CDP will be doing, it will take the data sources and then prefer the unification in the real time, and provide a kind of an improved reporting, multi-channel orchestration, and advanced segmentation, which you will be studying in depth in the later on session. As of now, you need to know one technical jargon, that is unification. Okay, one technical genre, that is unification. What is unification? Unified. Okay, in general world, what is unified? Anybody can able to answer what is the meaning of unified?
So unified is the unique customer profile from all the different channels. If a customer is coming, so the system is unifying it at one, say, golden record or something. So for one
Okay.
person, there is one profile only.
Yes. So unification is a kind of a general behavior in terms of the CDP, where it stitches, or else it will be taking the common customer attributes and then providing a kind of a integration source, and it will be providing a unique identifier. Okay, in SQL, if you have heard of the SQL, it is a primary key. Okay, where it acts as an entire for that record set, or whatever the characteristics, whatever the table, whatever the fields, whatever the merge ID is there. So this unification or ID is useful. In terms of the web language, web analytic language, unique visitor or unique ID will be taking into that unique visitor ID. Okay, in that same context, you can able to generalize that the unified. Okay, next comes into the unified customer profile, where the profile is automatically created by means of the characteristics and then the behavior of the data, and then way of the processing, and then the data stitching in the CDP, and then providing an unique ID. I hope everybody are very clear about this unification, how it is processed. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. Now, okay, might be I'll be explaining you in one real context. Okay, suppose you go to a bank. Okay, and then hey banker, I want one account. Okay, I want account. He will take the KYC form, and then you will be filling, you will be attaching your PAN card, you will be attaching your address copy or Aadhaar card, whichever it may be. He will be opening one account. Okay, and the account number that is associated with that, it has branch ID, or it has like a customer ID, or else the locker ID, whatever the entity is, it has all your entity. When he touches your phone number, your address, everything. Okay, when he enters, okay, on the system, it will fetch all the required fields, right? So there, in that CRM, that is the called the customer relationship management, okay, in the banking system. So there they will be unifying with the kind of a stitching methodologies, and then they will be integrating with the form attributes or form IDs, and then they will be taking it there. So basically they are also unifying, and then what is the difference in between the CDP unification and then the kinds of a unification? There they will be entering the data, there they will be doing the data entry, and then whatever the data entered is, so they will be utilizing that data, and then they will be seeing Either it may be manual or automated, but here entirely it is automated. Unified profile schema is entirely automated. By using the CDP, we can able to stitch the profile attributes together and understand the behavior, and then provide the kind of a segmentation and in the real time. So you are unifying the customers based on their connected experiences. Connected experiences. This is what it is from all the different sources. There only one source. It is of manual entry. Okay, you need somebody data entry has to be done, and then all the data entry somebody will be entering into that system, and then from there the fetch will happen. Here it will be unifying all the fetches from multiple sources, and then it will be doing the summation or unification, and it will be having a one profile ID, right? It will be having a one profile ID. So that is the
So,
unified customer
Pavan,
profile. Yes.
so in case if there are a customer who is
Mm,
moving, say, from a website, a social channel with a mobile number,
mm.
and then he go to the POS, the in retail outlet, and he gives his email ID. So in that case, there would be these two unique IDs which will be created, because system will not be knowing, okay, this is the guy who is the same one who goes on the website
Yes,
and give
that
his
comes
mobile
into the
number.
project to project and then the customer behavior. So here, he has it is a what we call the first session. So I don't want to go into the much of the technical depth. Okay, might be the profile ID that we can able to do the semantics by email ID, or some that will be coming into the clientele relationship and then coming into the platform when we are implementing the project. So as of now, I have helped in a general scenario how that stitching is and how it will be useful. Either it may be email ID or phone number, whatever the entity is.
So
So
it can be
unification.
either on both the cases, means email ID plus phone number basis the
Yeah, we
priority.
can do that. So that comes into the identity resolution. So which I will be taking it later. So
Okay, okay,
as it is the first session, I don't want to go into the depth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
okay, okay,
That one I will be explaining you in the use cases. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay, now you will be telling, so what kind of a benefits that I will be getting? Hey Pavan, or hey Samsung team. Okay, I am well impressed by your CDP concept, and you have explained me very well about that. And what kind of a benefits that I can able to get with the CDP platform? Okay, so yeah, so your Samsung team will go to the saying, and then so they will be preparing the kind of an outcomes with what kind of a things that we can able to do, what we can able to achieve in next 2 months timeline or 1 month timeline by using the CDP. Okay, whatever the platform is. Okay, so here we are understanding the customer. So and then we are providing a kind of a feasibility note, and you will be explaining the CDP that we are providing a gateway of degree unified customer view. For that, with the unification, what you will be giving, you have a lot of data, whatever the size of the data is, we are providing you these things with the CDP platform. One is the unified customer view and real-time data integration and 360-degree customer profiles and data activation and personalization and improved data governance and compliance. Okay, which you will be understanding all these things in a realistic nutshell and in a practical scenario in the later sessions. And as of now, historically, in the first session, you will be taking that the customer views will be created and then you will be providing to that. So in the same context of your banking application. So if I want to take only, I want in your net banking, you will be going and then you will be seeing, okay, I want a list of the transaction that I have done for a month. That is called a view. Okay, that means that you are creating a view for yourself, and from the data, whatever the data is from the master data, you are taking the relation of the data with the customer ID or the customer number, and then you are giving the date specific, and then you are taking the day by transaction. Okay, likewise you can able to do that and then provide the views of that. Okay, that is a unified customer view that I can able to view. And then the real-time data integration, like all the customer profiles will be integrated and then stitched together, and we can able to do that in terms of the customer segmentation concept or real-time data integration, we can able to integrate it together. And so this is like a 360-degree customer profiles. What is the difference between the unified customer view and 360-degree profiles? That is, so 360-degree profiling is on the whole of the data. I can able to mend it together and then provide a kind of a degree of personalization where I can able to give a kind of a customer preferences, whether the customer this kind of a customer will have this kind of a benefit, or else this kind of a benchmark, that you can able to understand it when I come to the realistic this thing. So my theory will be ended in another 3 minutes from now. Okay. And the data activation and personalization, how to personalize. Sometimes you will go to Amazon and then you want to purchase some product. Okay, you will be adding into the cart and then leave it off. After 24 hours, an email comes to you and say that, hey, so and so person, you missed our cart. Okay, this is what the cart value is. Okay, do you want to purchase? Add to cart and then pay now. So how that the platform or else the e-commerce application is knowing you as an identity. Okay, when it comes to that, so by the background process of the CDP, okay, it stitches together and then understand it with an accurate personas or the profile IDs that are being created, and then it delivers with a kind of a segmentation. And so we can able to do the we can able to get that email ID as a backend process. And that comes into the simplified version. The customer data platform can able to understand you well better than a normal human being holding a sales representative and then understanding your preferences. So that is what I have, what I want to tell it is. Yeah. And data governance and compliance, so I'll be explaining you in much in detail in the later sessions. So at this point of time, I'll be explaining you about the security and then the kinds of a HIPAA compliance, and then the PII should not be done. So with respect to the laws that are being done on the CDP or customer data. Okay, so that's what you can able to understand from this entire this thing. So anybody has any kind of a doubts, okay, relating to the concept of CDP? Next, I will be entering into experience.adobe.com and I will be explaining you about the RTCDP. Yeah. Any doubts? Any doubts?
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Have everybody has understood, or anybody has any kind of a questions? Please raise your hand. Any doubts from anyone? Okay. Okay. Hey, Samsung team. Yeah, thanks for your coming. Okay, now I understand. Okay, now I understand that. Okay, I have the data. Okay, you said that the CDP will be working. Now I want to understand. Okay, now I want to understand from the data and how you can able to do that. For suppose, okay, have the historical data of around equal to 20 years. Okay, from my web analytics team or something has 20 to 25 years of the data, and how this CDP will be working. Okay, how this CDP will be working, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I want your realistic explanation how that will be working on. Now you will come into the data journey process. Okay, and data journey, after that you will be mapping the data. Okay, the next slide will be mapping of the data in terms of the RTCDP and how you will be mapping the data within the realistic exceptions, right? So now after that I will be entering into the practical mode. No slides, nothing. So this is what is the slide that you can able to understand. Okay, so you will be your team or your data analytic team or your business team has got the data, and you have integrated all kinds of a source ID, whatever the injection ID or something likewise, and then now you have to explain them in a touch point analysis way. Okay, you have 20 years of the data, and then how CDP will be coming into that benchmark, and how that CDP will be taking into the action. Now you will be explaining it with a touch point analysis. Okay, basically I have taken the web analytics because I don't want to confuse the audience, so that's why I have taken web analytics. Even the person who knows minimal of Google Analytics also, or even he is a fresher also, they can able to understand this. So that's why I have trimmed this at a fresher level, not to the extent of an experienced data architect or something, right? So just I want to make sure that so they understand the concept in a better fashion than anybody else. Yeah. Now you will be explaining them in a touch point analysis. For example, say a visitor came into the website, and then the customers are been coming into the website. Okay, first of all, they have entered into the home page, and then an anonymous page is created. Next, when they are doing some kind of an email interaction, from there you are going to that it is an inbound, so whatever the channelization is, okay, we are going to do that, and then we can able to generalize this, and here the data interactions will be captured, whatever the channel or the whatever the journey of the customer is. Here, what are the customer data journey in the above, okay, the touch point states that whatever the journey is, either he may be coming from the earth or moon, and then he can able to click on the website, or he can able to come to that, whatever the marketing action is. Okay, here we are going to capture this data interactions, the CDP. Okay, the data interactions will be stitching together whatever the organic web traffic. First of all, activity will be captured, and then anonymous profile will be created. And then from this anonymous profile, so what we will be doing to that, and then according to the website activity, and then the kinds of an referral campaign, it stitches all together. The activity IDs will be stitches all together, and then the CDP can able to do that touch point analysis, and then they can able to streamline the interactions together, and then propose a kind of an data in an holistic view. Okay, still I didn't come to the Adobe. Okay, next slide we'll be talking about the architecture, next coming into the Adobe. Yeah, so any doubts how that the CDP flow? Yeah.
Just one thing, can you make it full screen? It's a little difficult to read.
Hi, Pavan.
Yes. Yes. You will be this presentation will be shared across to you, and you can go
Hi,
through it.
Pavan.
Yes.
This side, Akash.
Yes.
So in this slide, as it mentioned, the website activity and the referral campaigns activity, which we will be doing in, suppose, in Adobe campaign. So this all things will be reflected to CDP or automatically, or we have to do something to just ingest all those activity into CDP.
So, okay, in order to come to your use case analysis, so in the CDP, that is RT CDP, whichever it might be, there will be a sources, okay, where you need to connect by using the connectors. I hope you like I will be coming to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here in general, so I have told about the significance of the CDP and how that is getting captured. So here you are saying the according to the case analysis, you are doing some kind of a campaigns in any of the platform, and then the platform has to be configured to RT-CDP in order to fetch the data. Okay, then only it will work by using the OOTB connectors or HTTP API,
Okay.
which are the connectors that are available in the Adobe Marketplace. Yeah, generally in RT-CDP, we use a connector, and we can able to do that this thing. So I will explain you in the next slide. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So this is general. Okay. So just I have made this slide in order to make even a fresher should understand the concept of CDP. Yeah. Any doubts on this slide? There might be a lot of things like a stage, inbound traffic events, campaign ID interaction, source ID integration. So here I have taken just a general example and then make use of that and then help to understand. Yeah.
Hi, Pavan, of this side. So all the data flowing into the system and flowing out from the system is in real time in RTCDP?
Yes. There are B2B
All
and
data
B2C.
real time, or it would be partial?
See, there are two types of systems. One is B2B and B2C. And according to your contract, okay, according to our client contract, so we have around 2 hours. Okay, whatever the things are. So we have a contract that all the data should be injected in 2 hours. It depends upon the clientele contractual engagement. And in general, Adobe recommends around 12 hours of policy in general that I am stating. It differs according to the client to client and then the contract with Adobe. Yeah, for us it is 2 hours because we deal with the banking data and all the data comes under the product of some some marketing ID that has to be coming from the now the source Fivetran. Yeah, Fivetran that we have integrated. For us, it is significantly called as 2 hours. 2 hours is the highest. Yeah. Generally, Adobe recommends 12 hours as per the technical this thing. I hope so. I have addressed your question. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So I hope I have addressed your question.
Yes, up to some extent.
Yeah.
We'll get into details later.
Later. So for us, it is 2 hours as per the Adobe contract. Okay. Okay. Now, you are getting into the detail right now. So whatever the experience applications are, and then so what kind of things that we are doing to that. And so this is the architecture that you will be proposing it to a client. So this was taken from the Adobe website only and experience.adobe.com and then how experience Adobe platform will be working together. Okay. So here in the data collection, okay, what are the data that is getting collected? So either it may be the server side or the streaming sources or the cloud apps. Okay, we will be doing the streaming data by means of the SDK. We will be having two types of an function, that is web SDK and mobile SDK, and we will be setting up a profile and data management through which we will be falling into the data injection and applying the real-time customer profiling and then applying the data lake concepts and discovery insights and governance, security and privacy, and then provide this data into the email streaming and then the Adobe Experience Platform Edge network. I will be explaining you when I come into this. So why for edge network is used and what is the difference in between. As of now, I am just proposing this is what it is, and I have taken this diagram from the Adobe portal itself. Okay, and then the kinds of and in later, so I will be explaining each and every step. Okay, from all this, and then I will be explaining you one use case where you will be understanding what for AEP is used and then how it can be implemented across the organization. Yeah, and from there, so you will be getting into the experience in detail. So there are a lot of steps here like ECID and a lot of steps that I will be explaining you when I come to the practical session. Yeah, so as of now, keep it very simple and in a generic way. So and we can able to take it in the whatever the real-time CDP is, and we can able to give that as a customer engagement and provide the data in terms of the customer journey analytics or any other reporting tool like Tableau or anything else. So this is the generic streamline which I have taken from the Adobe portal, and it differs according to the client. Client may be using BigCommerce, or client may be using lot of streamlined data. Client may be using this thing. So according to the client, so the architectural diagram differs accordingly. Yeah. Any doubts on this?
Hi, Pavan. What is the significance of this pipeline?
Okay. So in order to understand the pipelining method, okay, so generally you need ETL sources. Might be I'll be explaining you one realistic situation right now in the portal after accessing into the portal, and then I will be explaining you one of the CI/CD pipeline that we are using, and then from there you can able to understand what for the CI/CD pipeline is used. Is that okay with you? I'll be coming into the practical session
Yes.
and then explaining your
Okay.
question. Yeah, please give me some,
Okay.
allow me some time. Yeah.
Sure,
Any
sure.
doubts apart from this?
And what about the data preparation? This is done by the RTCDP consultant, or means it will be done automatically?
Okay, so that one also I'll come back to you right now itself. Okay, in the practical session. Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of the Adobe as a consultant whole, okay, the ETL concepts and everything will be done by the data engineer. And when it comes to the RTCDP, who is working on the AEP platform, okay, it differs upon the job description from company to company. And in my company, so that is the data engineer who is working on the RTCDP has to use a kind of a data injection model, and then he has to do a data modeling before doing the data preparation, because we want the client to be adjusted instead of going into the what we call lot of turns around. So but in my company the data engineer will be doing this task. It differs according to company, that that is according to the expectations of the managers. Yeah. Okay. But in my company, so we are expected to do this. Yeah. Yeah. Coming into the platform, so any doubts on this? Might be this is overburden for you on the architecture, but this architecture will be used as a reference in the later sessions also. Once after you complete 3 to 4 day also, this architecture will be shown to you on daily basis. Yeah. Let us take 1 minute break and I'll be entering into the platform. Okay, if there are any doubts, I need your heads up to do that.
So Pavan, I think we can take some 10 minutes break. That would be okay.
10 minutes. Okay. So yeah, it's okay. So let us take 10 minutes break and then so
We
we
will have
can
a quick
again.
some water.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. So once you got access to your environment, okay. Sorry. This is the sandbox access. 1 minute. Oh yeah, please speak to admin. 1 minute.
Pavan, I just have a doubt on this. Do we also get the access to the sandbox instance?
No.
No, okay. So this is okay. So it's just a view of how it
Just a
looks
view.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So one of the gentlemen asked, okay, why I need pipelines? That is the first question. And second thing is, so in the environment, okay, the ETL process or the kind of a data engineering, okay, what do RTCDP members has to do that? So the first question, so I'll be addressing the first question, and the second question, so I'll be addressing the next. Okay. So when we are doing any kind of a cloud deployment, okay, any kind of a cloud deployment, either it differs according to company to company, but in my case, so
Sorry
I
to interrupt you, Pavan. It's very low. Your sound is very low for me at least. Is it for
now
everyone or it's
Better, better.
better now?
okay, thank you. So one second, if you don't mind. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Pretty clear. Okay, so I repeat what I try to say. Okay, so one of the gentlemen asked, okay, what is the use of CI/CD pipeline? Okay, and what for we are doing, what for we are doing that we need to do in terms of the CI/CD pipeline. Uh, generally, all the people will not be doing the same. And when we are doing the what we call the process in terms of that. But in my client environment, every data engineer should know the concept of the CI/CD pipeline, and he has to work on it. So according to my client and then my job description that is saying that. So as I mentioned, so what is a CI/CD pipeline in the sense? It is a sequence of steps where we will be doing some kind of an integrations and we will be providing the new features. For example, say I have deployed a set of changes today and tomorrow is the deployment. I need to reconfigure the same and then I have to provide in the cloud, okay, what kind of a reconfiguration that we need to do in order to do that, and then what kind of an automation that we will be doing in terms of the cloud deployments or the cloud repositories. Okay, so here we are deploying everything to the server. Okay, we are not keeping in terms of the Adobe server. So we are everything deploying into the clientele. So we are using the CI/CD pipeline and we are using the connectors called Fivetran in order to do that. Okay, so here the pipelines in the sense like if you in generic pipeline is a set of activity. It has a pipe where you will be sending lot of uh, like it's a water pipeline, so where you will be sending lot of changes or the version again and again in order to do that and publish that in the container environment. Yeah, I hope you are understanding that. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Pavan, not exactly. Container environment and those things. So you mean to say in the
Okay.
production environment?
This is the continuous integration and continuous delivery model where I think I think I am involved in this, but okay, it is like whenever you are sending any changes to the published environment, okay, you will be building, testing, and merging the changes, right? So where the continuous integration will be happening and continuous delivery, so where the releases will be happening in the repository. That I can able to tell likewise, right? So when you are sending the version of the changes to the live environment, so likewise I can able to significant like the
Okay,
continuous
okay.
integration, continuous delivery. Okay, here the pipelines. So pipeline act as a methodology in order to send it to that. For example, say if I have to send this from the cloud manager AEM to the any of these things. So just I will be adding a pipeline, and I'll be creating a deployment pipeline, and I will be giving a name, whatever the name that deploy to 5 SPR S1 server. Okay, and I will be doing that, and then from where I have to send it, or is it on the GitHub or is it on the manual process? Okay, generally we use the GitHub, and so we will be clicking on continue, and we will be configuring the environments of the GitHub. Okay, and we will be setting the Git branch, like all of you know the GitHub, right? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so in the GitHub, so version control will be done. So where I will be saving this, and then the pipeline will be created. Okay, so likewise, so I will be creating the pipeline. Okay,
So this
am
would
I
be for the production deployment, right?
this is the staging environment that I have done. This is for the production. Yeah, but this is staging environment. S1 server.
Yeah. Currently it says yes. Got it. Got it.
Yes, yes. Okay. Now, the coming into the second
So,
question.
sorry,
Sorry.
just a question here. So, yeah, what kind of code deployment are we talking about here? Are we talking about like integration of like code for pipelines, or I mean, or is it for consolidating the data, or is it for unification of data? So, when we're talking about this Git code, what code goes there? Like, what part of the entire architecture are we, committing here and deploying to what server?
Okay. If you are aware of the banking and financial data, okay, so the banking data is separate, and then the financial data is separate, where you will be adding the sources and then bringing the modeling of the data. Okay, so here modeling of the data, for example, say in this we are using the cloud manager, but in our real-time system, so we are using the IDMS server. Okay, where we will be entering into the server, and then we will be fetching the real data across that, and we will be using the IDMS channel. So IDMS channel, from there we will be getting the data, and we will be modeling the data. For example, say for the use case, the number of the transactions in a day versus the successful integrations or the successful credit card sources who has purchased the SKU number 6171. Okay, likewise, so we have to prepare a use case modeling, and then we have to prepare that. For that, the CI/CD pipeline, we will be sending the data. This code changes, whatever the Python code and whatever the SQL data queries that we are doing, and PySpark code. So we will be sending the data directly into the Git server, and so from there, so we will be deploying into the production mechanism. Yeah,
Sorry, I
instead
think
of that.
you're saying you're sending the data to the Git server, but is that customer data, or are you saying the code that
We
consolidates?
are only sending the code. We are not sending any
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of a
not the
uh,
data.
not the
Yeah,
data. Data we don't have
yeah. So you
access, right?
consolidate, and this code is used for the unification, like fetching data from different
And
sources. And
yeah,
yeah, that's a script which is used for modeling and fetching the data and unifying it. And then this script is used to deploy to a server where all of
mm,
this happens, right? So that is
yes,
what
sir.
you just showed, the pipeline.
Yes.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that is only the changes. Okay, GitHub will have the repository of the changes, and by using the version control, so it can able to do a kind of what kind of a changes that we have done yesterday, day before yesterday, likewise. Yeah, and we will be doing the documentation for that. So for that only we are using the CI/CD pipelines. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now coming into the second question, some of them are asked, okay, whether the data engineer can able to do that. Yes, data engineer can able to do the CI/CD pipeline, And the other question, I'm not sure whether I heard it right or not. Can you please repeat the question? Somebody has asked me some more question. I'm. Can anybody repeat that question, please? Hello.
I think Akash asked it for
Yes.
the architecture, now. So if you can
Yes.
just show the
Architect.
architecture slide,
Hmm.
maybe he would be. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Made data prep, right? He was talking on data prep, right?
Yeah. Data prep. Okay. So generally in the context, okay, the data prep will not be prepared by the RTCDP person, okay, but that depends upon the data mapping, and your organization will be taking care of that. What kind of a data prep has to be done, what kind of an ETL architecture that has to be done. But in my project there are no there are less number of resources, so that's why, so we are being emphasized to take that as an additional job or something likewise. So generally it's not the job of the RTCDP person in order to do that, but in my project as there is a shortfall of resources, so we are forced to do that. Yeah, I hope
So,
you have answered that question.
so with data prep, you mean the cleansing of data?
Yeah, so it's something likewise. Okay, the architecture is likewise. So how I will be using that data is that before coming into the platform, I'll explain you.
Okay, so just to give you a background, in Samsung, we are having an ETL.
Mm,
So all the data sources would be connected to the to one system, big
mm,
data,
yeah.
and then from that system it would be moved to CDP, RTCDP.
Okay. Okay.
So our
It
team
depends
would be
upon
having
the.
the
It depends.
ETL guys as well, and then the RTCDP also, plus
Okay.
Adobe campaign. So all
Okay. I'll
those, yeah.
I'll skip this set. Okay, because I thought that okay, so I'll be giving you a
No, no,
kind of
but
a
that is
thing.
required.
Okay.
No, that would be
So
required actually. So if you can give more details, it would be better because we would be doing that step as well in our team.
okay, no problem. So how I will be doing this? That let me structure that. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. Here in sandbox environment, I will be showing you the data prep, how I will be doing that. And so what kind of a data handling? So I will be explaining you about the handling of a data formats. Okay, when it comes to the streaming of the data and how to do that as a function. So in the next, after 20 to 25 minutes after explaining the UI of the Adobe Experience Platform, I'll be coming into the individual step and then I will be explaining you this. Yeah, please hold your breath for 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, sure. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. 1 second, please. One second, sorry. Sorry for my this thing. 99601. This is the complete UI. This is the complete UI of the Adobe Experience Platform B2B version, right? So where you will be having the entire AEP, okay, what for AEP use, and then I'll be coming back on the technical concept of the edge network and everything. So I will be coming out. So whenever it is required, and I don't have any fancy slides in order to explain you that. I will be using the help links and I will be explaining you the technical jargon or something. So whenever it is required, yeah. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Pavan, your voice is very feeble again. I think. Yeah.
Now? Now?
Yeah, better. Better.
Yeah, I have connected to VPN. So it will not be that thing. So please stop me whenever you are. Right. Okay. So this is the Adobe Experience Platform where I will be using the B2B version over here and I will be explaining you all use cases, okay, with respect to the customer, and then I will be providing you the documentation, a step-by-step documentation, so later on, okay, once after the session is completed. As of now, so you know the CDP and our organization came into these things called Adobe Experience Platform, where you will be uh, having your job to ensure that. So you will be working on the Adobe Experience Platform. Okay, all the data preparation, data injection, everything, ETL, reverse ETL process, everything is done for us. So as I am also including in the ETL process, and then I need to do the data preparation before that. So before stage is the data preparation while implementing the Adobe Experience Platform into this organization. Yeah. So the steps for doing that. So I'll be explaining you in another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, once after I finish this AEP as a platform, right? So logging into the tool experience.adobe.com, where you will be seeing the kind of an ID, and then your organization has implemented the RTCDP into the organization, and then you will be working on. Okay, there are two types of roles here. One is the admin role, next is the developer role. Okay, admin role contains all kinds of an account feasibility, setting up of an account, setting up of an data view, and other things. As I am a developer, so I will be having accesses to all the developer environment and kinds of things that I do on the daily basis. So if you want to go into the admin role or the platform role, okay, so your platform owner has to provide you the role access. As of now, I am showing you the developer access that I have, and within that you can able to create that. Tomorrow I can able to assure you this sandbox environment will get some kind of an access. As of now, it is not yet activated, this sandbox, because 2 days back only we got the sandbox, and it is in the process of creation of the user roles, and which our organization is taking care. So more in detail, so by tomorrow I'll get the sandbox access configured in my to my IP. Okay, yeah. So as of now, I am explaining you about the B2B, which is a developer, so which we are using the kind of a configuration. So I hope I am very clear on the kind of an environment that I am showing, and that will not rise to a question on the account management or something likewise. Is it okay if I continue?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So logging into the tool experience.adobe.com, where I will be utilizing this kind of an environment, and then we will be doing that. Okay, before step is the ETL process and then the data prep process, so which I will be explaining after explaining of this. Okay, now coming into the platform, what for AEP? Okay, what for AEP? Why Adobe has introduced a concept called AEP? Okay, why Adobe has introduced a concept called AEP? So anybody, any views on it?
So AEP is a kind of umbrella
Hmm.
which has various modules.
Hmm.
So if we implement AEP, it would be having accesses to all those individuals Adobe modules,
Hmm.
and they are integrated closely, and we would
Hmm.
be having a better customer experience and better insights, and reporting and everything would be in a better way. So it has like
Okay.
CJO, it has AEM, it has web account, AC, Adobe campaigns. So all those things are already integrated in AE.
Okay. So yes. So I'll be generalizing, and then I will be coming into the Adobe Focuser definition. Okay. I'll be generalizing. So see, CDP is there, and then you have everything. And so Adobe has introduced an AEP, okay, as a CDP platform, everything. So first of all, why AEP is, it is of having a kind of a mechanism or a supercharged engine which can able to finely tune the customer experiences. Okay, Adobe Experience Platform is a supercharged engine, okay, which can able to finely tune the customer experience and provide the centralized and connecting data foundation. Yeah, it is that it stitches, or else it will be finely tuning the customer experience and providing a foundation with the connected experience as a mechanism and centralize that, so that the business or anybody can able to understand the data in a better view. I hope I have given you a right set of the proposition. Adobe Experience Platform, as per Adobe, it's a platform or a supercharged engine which is having a which can able to have a which can able to finely tune the customer experiences and provide a centralized and connected data, which can able to provide a centralized and then connected data, and with that the business can able to understand the data in a better fashion. I hope I will be even simplify. AEP as a platform it is that it uses the connection, and then we will be connecting to n number of different sources, and then we will be doing the data stitching, and then adding upon actionable insights to the data, and adding up of a profile, and then stitching the behaviors like what he is doing in the web analytics, and then what he is doing. So and then we can able to provide it as a dashboard as a destination, so that the business people can able to understand the data in a better fashion, and then they can able to utilize this actionable insights or the factual data in terms of the business scenarios development. I hope I am very clear on this, or any doubts on this. Hello? Hello? Anybody, any doubts on this?
No, it's all clear.
No,
Okay.
it's clear, quite clear.
Okay. So let me come into this. Okay, how this AEP works. Okay, so I'll take 2 minutes of your time, and I'll be opening to Adobe AEP website. Okay, I'll be explaining in a very simplistic fashion. Okay, and how it will be useful. See how that Adobe works. So I'm just taking the Adobe website only as a this thing, because I don't have any fancy slides in order to do that. Okay, first of all, the data will be collected. How that data collection will be there? So Adobe has source and destination modules in AEP, which we will be using the collects data collection as a schema across that. Next is the data management. So where you will be bringing the data into multiple sources and then use across the system, and then connect the XDM. So I will be explaining you about the XDM later on. So how that will be useful, and the unification. And before that, so I will be also explaining you about the edge network, and how Adobe will be using the edge network in the data management stage, and the data unification, how that the unification will happen in that in the environment. That is how the identity will be created, so that I will be explaining you. And the governance and privacy, which is a focused session, so on one day, which will talks about all the governance and privacy, and insights and AI. So where I will be talking after the data and governance. So how to do that, the enrichment of the profiling, and then how we can able to do that. And then the extensibility is the last session. So where I will be explaining the kind of a connection, and so generally it will be covered tomorrow, and then the later on after in the last session, that is the day last day. So I will be explaining you about this in the later session. So I hope everybody is very clear on this, right? So first of all, it will collect the data, do the data management process, and then create a kind of a unification strategy where it acts governance and uh, privacy controls to the data, and then provide a kinds of an insights and AI, that is by the data driven strategy, provides the factual analysis to the data, and then operate in terms of the kind of an extendable platform in order to understand the data in a better fashion. Yeah, so this is what the Adobe Experience Platform works according to that. Any doubts in this?
Pavan, I just wanted to know, so where the predictive profiling and the deterministic profiling is happen, and how Sensei is playing between both of them.
Okay, that one I will be
How much
explaining
process is
you.
manual and how much is supported by Sensei?
Yes, I'll be explaining you that day two, that is tomorrow. Yeah, not now. Yeah. Is that okay? I have noted down and I will be explaining you on day 2 that contains the process and steps. And so I will be adding this question and then I will be explaining you in a detailed fashion.
No issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any doubts before we move on to this? Anybody, any doubts, please? No doubts?
No, we are good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Give me 1 minute break and then I can start up with the platform. Okay. So yeah. Okay, this is the UI of the dashboard. So where you will be entitled to have your account, what kind of an account that is, and then you will have all your preferences organization on your right hand side. And here comes into the notification, and from here you can able to see the AI assistant where it talks about the kind of and helps that you can able to do. And at any point of the time, I insist to use the experience league for help, okay, in order to do the experience on that. And whatever the platforms that you have access, so it will be displayed on this. And then this is the protection shoot, okay, where you will contains all the kinds of a data views here. And whatever the IDs that your organization has, so you will be seeing uh, in this view. So and then you can able to select the right set of the environment that you have access to. So if you don't have the access, so you can contact your platform manager and then get the accesses across to that. And coming into the left hand view, so where it talks about, okay, the kind of a holistic view and then the menu where you can able to work on, and then it is a kind of a playground, okay, where you can able to have you entirely work on the AEP as a model, and you can able to do that. The first and foremost things that you need to know is here the workflows. Okay, what is a kind of a workflow? Okay, in general work, general in generally, what is a workflow? In general, don't talk about the AEP, leave about CDP, everything. Yeah.
Series of steps connected together.
Yes. So as mentioned, so workflows are a kind of an automated where it contains a functionality, it is stitched to a functionality, or else it performs one functionality which has a series of the steps that are being automated. Okay. So for here, so we have the workflow, that is the data injection, where we will be using the map CSV to XDM schema. Some of them has asked me the data preparation. Okay, I'll be explaining you across the workflow that we use, and the data preparation in our Fivetran mechanism, how we are going to use, right? So I will be explaining you by stitching to that environment. Yeah. So next is the dashboards. So anybody, any gentleman, tell me about what is the dashboard in a general view, and I will tell about the Adobe definition.
So it's a snapshot of
Hmm.
the key things which you want to see. So everyone
Yes.
can customize their own dashboard. So it's a kind of key parameters, key KPIs, those
Hmm.
kind of stuff.
Okay, in our dashboards, okay, so as per Adobe definition, okay, in AEP, dashboards are something like, okay, creates a holistic view of the um, secondary view that is created by the customer or the user who is utilizing that. So here in AEP, so we can able to create a number of dashboards. Um, like I have only according to the contractual engagement, I have only 10 dashboards that I can able to create in my login. So might be differs according to the company to company. I'm not sure about it, but as for my SOP and contract, so when I read, so it was I can able to create only 10 dashboards. Yeah. So the way of
This
creating.
dashboard is customer specific, means it would be a generic dashboard for everyone, or it would be like I can create my own dashboard and you can create your own dashboards.
So that one I don't know. Actually, I read the document, but it never mentioned that okay, I can able to create my dashboards publicly. I don't have idea on that. Yeah, frankly speaking, I don't have idea on that. Whether I can able to create the public dashboards, I am not sure about that. Yeah. Is that okay? Like on this, I don't have idea
Yeah,
whether I can able to
no
create the
problem. That's okay.
public dashboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Fine, no.
So the way of creation of the dashboard is, okay, you will be going into that and then you will be creating the dashboard first view integration. Okay. So, and I will be creation of the dashboard and then what kind of an integrations that I want to bring it to that. So I can able to create and then I'll be adding the widgets to that. So what kind of a widgets that I can able to add? Either it may be what kind of a data that I it, or else in x-axis what kind of a things that I can able to do, and then what kind of a filtering mechanism that I can able to do. My login may or may not support the public view of the dashboards. I'm not sure about it, so that's why I will be keeping on. I'll be using the data in B2B dev environment to create the dashboard. Yeah, 1 second. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. So create the dashboard, and you can able to create the first view dashboard. And so generally you can able to add your own widget and then you can able to create the own dashboard. For now, I'll be adding the widget, and so I will be adding select the data first is the model. So what kind of a data model that you will be using? So for now, so I'll be using the CDP insights. Okay, which is yeah. For now, I will be using fact profile. Okay, I don't want to touch the fact profile. Yeah. So I'll be using the fact profile here, and don't worry. This is the dev environment where it doesn't have the data. Okay, it doesn't have the data. I confirm it doesn't have the data. Any of the client data, it doesn't have that. So so just we have created some kind of a tables and I will be utilizing that. And then whatever the things that the model that I want to bring it to that. So I will be utilizing that. There are two ways that I can able to do that. One is I'll create from the external sources and then I can able to bring it, or else I'll be using the map function in AEP and then get the data. Okay. There are two ways in order to do this. First one is I will be using the map function and then I'll get the data, okay, before the training, and then or else we use the external mechanism for the B2B process called FITRAN. Okay, from the FITRAN, so we will be connecting to all the sources, and then we will be streaming the data from Amazon, AWS, Redshift, open source mechanism. So all other different sources it will be connected, and then we will be pulling the data over here. Okay, so the way of getting the data into Adobe, so we will be either using the Adobe function method, a method that is already established by means of the mapping function, or else we can able to use the external mechanism called FITRAN, and then we can able to pull that data that is performing the ETL operations, and then we can able to pull the data into the system. Yeah. For now, I'll be utilizing the fact.
One more question.
Yeah.
So, when you selected data model, that
Hmm.
data model has been created by you, right? Or is it something that was out of the box?
Generally, I have a team. So there is a fighter team or the contractor who is working on that. And then I will be providing my ETL functions, what kind of an ETL functions that we do. And then it is an holistic. I'm not the person who will be 100% into that. And then there is 2 to 3 persons who will be working with me. And then I will be providing the ETL jobs or ETL cron jobs for them. Yeah.
So the data model is the consolidation of all the data from different sources,
Hmm.
and then it is in the next step when we saw the tables, these were the tables that had been imported or being referred using your map function through an
Hmm.
external data source, and
Yeah.
then you were able to select the tables here. So
Yes.
that is what you did now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sir. Okay. So let me show you that. 1 minute. How what my job in that is. My job is limited in that, but I will show you. Where is that? One minute.
Also, the tables that you were seeing, are they being stored in Adobe's cloud platform, or all the customer data or the tables that is there that were being shown, does it create a copy of it, or is it, that you were talking about the map function, or is it just a mirror where you are just seeing data from an external system into the cloud server?
Can you please repeat the question, please?
I'm just trying to understand the data when you said select tables, you selected a table. So there must be some data inside the table, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So the data, is it a copy of, this data being stored in Adobe system? Or is it just like an import job? Like you said, there's a scheduled job. So it is importing the data into Adobe system, right? All of it, the tables that are getting created.
Yeah. So I'll explain you over that. Answering to your first question. Okay. So where is that? Let me finish this and then I'll be coming to that one by one at a time, please. Yeah. So let me finish this. First question that you have asked me, uh, the external mechanism, how we are going to import to that, right? So yeah, 1 minute. The data modeling. In the Fivetran mechanism, so this is the mechanism that I will be following. 1 minute. Where is that? Where is the diagram? Um, 1 minute. Forgot the name. So can I tell that of Phytran methodology tomorrow? I think I forgot that actually where I have drawn that diagram. I think I forgot. Okay, so the generally
Yeah.
view is yeah, here is the Python. Okay, so generally, so we will be connecting the data, okay, from all the open addresses, and then from the dataverse, and then we will be selecting the Snowflake as a ETL mechanism, and we will be sending the data across to that, and then we will be using the sync function. So here we will be using the pipelining of the data sync. We will be connecting to the AEP such that for every 30 minutes 30 minutes 30 minutes bucket, so we will get that data from the dataverse, and we can able to inject that data, and we will be using the map function in AEP. 1 minute, I'll be showing you that map function where I will be involved in that. So here I will be creating the connection and then applying the transformations here. So what are the Snowflake ETL transformation that I want to use? I will be utilizing that. Generally, I will be using the pre-prod mechanism and prod mechanism, which is automated, and we will be also preparing the sandbox. So this sandbox will be utilized for the sandboxes that we had, and we will be seeing all the connections, and from the S3 bucket, Amazon S3 bucket, using the Redshift, so we will be sending the data. So like mm, 30 minutes or 30 minutes, I think so. I forgot the timeline. What is the interval that I have, what we are going to do? Some may ask for 1 day, some clients may ask for 1 day, some may ask for 6 hours, and some may ask for direct relay. So direct relay, so I am not performing, some other team is performing. I am performing on the jobs that the customer is giving. Yeah. So from there, so we will be sending the transformation, we will be applying the transformation and sending into the Adobe over here by utilizing, where is that Adobe AEP? Yeah. So by utilizing the workflow, okay. Okay. So by utilizing here the sources, yeah, sorry, sources, I'll be creating the sources by that by using the HTTP Amazon S3 bucket IDs, and then I will be adding the data and then getting the data into the system. I hope I have answered this question, or is there anything that that is missing from my side?
No, that's fine for
Yeah, yeah. So generally, my job is to ensure that from that platform, okay, Fivetran. So I am not completely 100% involved in that. I'll be providing the ETL jobs to them, and I will be also working with them. So for some of the tickets, and then get the job done in AEP. Yeah, that is my core function. Yeah. So next is the dashboards that I have explained. Dashboards where we are. So dashboards. So we will be creating the dashboards. Okay, according to the widgets that you want, and according to that you can able to create the data model attribute, and then you can able to use that. 1 minute for me right now. So these are the records that we have injected in VA7 server Okay, these are not the client. These are not the client profiles. These are all the testing profiles. These are not the client profiles. These are all the testing profiles. Okay, when we want to do that, so we are using a text directory in order to fetch that profiles, and then we are using this kind of a profiles. How we are doing? So it is already done in the Fivetran. Just we need to import that, and then we have to connect the database to our AEP through HTTP API from the test server. Okay, that is configure. From there, we will be using an HTTP API configuration. For example, say 6 teams are there. So which testing server I need to take that? So I will be taking that configuration from the platform owner, and then I will be implementing that in AEP and then fetch that data into this mechanism. Understood? Or any doubts in that? Any doubts in that, or how it is exactly? I'm sorry, you are not clear right now, but I will try to come out with a kind of a structural framework or something in the later sessions. Is that okay? If you are not clear, yeah.
So, Pavan,
Okay.
there is a thought. You are taking this example, right? Five trend as a source, which is again a custom, right?
Mm,
So when you are explaining these things, we may not work on five trend, right? And there
mm,
could be like n number of sources. So when
mm.
you are taking the example of five trend as we may not use that, for you to Adobe, application as a source instead of five trend because that's custom, right? And this would have different ways to inject the
Yeah.
data into AEP, right?
Let
That may
me.
confuse the
Yeah.
yeah.
Let
So
me.
my
Let
point
me.
here is just to keep the yeah. Please go ahead.
Sorry. You are telling something. Yeah. Sorry.
We're simply saying because every to AEP and this training we are conducting, right? So if you could use the example from Adobe itself for injecting the data and as a source, that would be easy, right? Because
Okay.
people may think there's a predefined way to inject the data, which may not be similar for others, right?
Okay.
So if is that possible for you?
Yeah,
I would like
yeah,
to
Jet.
ask that.
So you are asking the right question. Okay. So that to use the Adobe as an example, that's what I am trying to do with the sandbox. Okay. Sandbox access is not yet provided to me, and then it is in the provision by EOD. I will get that access, the sandbox access, where I can do n number of things. So as it is a prod or a dev server, so I don't have a lot of privileges to work on the custom requirements, right? So once that access is provided to me today, so I will be working on that, and then in terms, so I will be explaining only the Adobe as a source mechanism when I comes to the sources. Yeah.
Okay.
Does I
Yeah,
answer
so
your
that's
question?
better. Yes, probably we
Yeah.
can. Yes, you did. So just here we can add one, statement that this is just an example. There could be n number of sources, and this is entirely custom, 510 source, and we may not have to consider whatever exact
Yeah. So that depends upon the
different.
client to client. And then I will be
Correct.
explaining each and everything in the connections when I comes to the connections. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay, next you will be creating the data, and according to that, so what you need in the x-axis and y-axis, okay, and you will be taking that and you will be doing that, whatever the data is, right? So for now, so as as it is a preliminary session, so dashboards will be created based on the views that you have, and you will be working on that according to that. For now, I will be taking the count of the identities. 1 minute. Why this is not selecting? Count of identities. So I'll be adding into the x-axis, and what I want is in the y-axis. Okay, in the y-axis, uh, anybody, any view? what we can able to add in y-axis?
So time, any time you
Any
can.
time frame or anything. So current where. So in y-axis. Okay, any filter? Any filter?
Yeah,
Any
you
filter?
can put if the profile is having um, email ID or not, or any other.
No, this doesn't have, this data doesn't have email IDs and phone number. Any other? You can see here. This is the fact profile. So fact profile doesn't have any email IDs or something like this, which is, you can see here. Anything. I want your thought process to take it.
Quarters, you can mention first quarter, second quarter.
Yeah, so you can use, because you have used in y-axis, and then you need to use the filter, okay, according to whichever it is. And so as you have used as a time frame, so you can use the time as a filter in order to do that, and then you can able to select the date range according to the, so likewise you can able to create the views according to your flexibility, or whatever your business scope is, and according to your view. Okay, so this is all about the dashboard. Now coming into the playbooks. So Adobe provides some kind of a playbooks, okay, where you can able to utilize this as a workflow, and you can able to do that. Okay, so generally in this scenario, this will be taken in the day 3, okay, of your training. So for now you need to understand, okay, Adobe has some certain mechanism that is already pre-built. Okay, Adobe has some kind of a mechanism that is already pre-built, which is termed as a playbooks in Adobe AEP, that we can able to utilize it, and we can able to do the job in a better fashion. So it is like, okay, when you are doing any mathematical functions or mathematical calculations, plus, minus, into, these are the foundations. Adobe itself has provided some kind of a playbooks which you can able to modify according to your custom requirement and do the function accordingly. This one will be covered in the day 3 or day 4. Yeah, so for now you will need to understand Adobe has a certain function of utilizing the playbooks where I can able to do my job in a better fashion. Yeah, next is the sources. Now coming into this, okay, as I mentioned, so Adobe is connected with various level of the sources, whatever the sources is, either it may be any of these things. It has a catalog of all the sources where you can able to inject the data from multiple different sources, right? From multiple different sources, you can able to inject the data into the real-time platform. Okay, the basic is, okay, whatever the platform that you use, you need to know the configurations of that platform. Okay, you need to know that configurations of the platform, who will be providing that generally in large organizations the platform owner will be providing that. In small organizations or the startups or any other thing, so you need to contact whoever has been recruited or your manager who will be responsible for that. Okay, so there are various number of sources that you can able to inject it and then get the configuration for that. Okay, right? So you can use the rain focus and Adobe Analytics. You can use any of the mechanism and Adobe Kinesis and Azure mechanism, Azure Data Lake, or Azure Event Hubs, whichever it may be, Google Storage, if you are using the GCP, or if you are using the Adobe Apache Kafka, you can use the PubSub or object storing model. If you have any kind of a mechanism, or you have a custom CRM that is developed by your organization, and from there you need to set up. So you can able to set up from the SFTP. Okay, like you can able to set up by taking the HTTP API call, and you can able to authenticate that. This is just the configuration. Okay, how you can able to do that in terms of the data injection. There might be n number of platforms that you can able to set up. Okay, Adobe itself has, these are called the connectors. These are called the OOTB connectors. Okay, these are called the connectors. By using the Adobe online connectors, you can able to connect to that. If you doesn't have the connectors in place, if your organization, then we recommend to use the SFTP, where you can able to get your platform owner or platform this thing, and then get that into the mechanism, right, or configure into the mechanism. And if you have a local system, okay, my organization is not so big as Samsung, and then I have only CRM that we are using the JDBC ODBC driver. Okay, that's it. I don't have that thing. I'm using Excel file. Okay, I am using Excel file. You can use the local mechanism, create data set from file, and then you can able to add the data by using that. Or else you can able to opt for the local file upload, and then you can able to map the fields, right? So you can able to select the data set, which data set I need to send this. Or else if you have the offline mechanism or offline data from coming from the POS terminal, or the credit card transaction that is captured in the credit card mission, so that all are the offline transaction, you need to stitch the data. So for that you can able to use these workflows, uh, taking the offline mechanism, and then you can able to stitch that within the platform. I hope you are very clear on this, right? Whatever the platform is, there are n number of platforms that you can able to use, and that depends upon your project to project, or that depends upon your kind of an environment to environment, and that depends upon how that data is getting populated in different systems. Yes, understood. In my case, I am using Fivetran and Adobe AWS Kinesis, and I am using also Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Oracle Equala for some of the applications, and I am also using the Shopify, and I am using this IBM DB2 server, and Google BigQuery. These are the sources that we have configured for our project. Maybe it differs from project to project, and this thing, and then the consent management is one trust management that we are doing. So these are the kind of verticals that we had, and taking into the account sources, you can able to do n number of sources according to the catalog that you can able to take it through. I hope I am very clear on my point, or do you have any questions?
Just one question. Uh, are there any different mechanism for batch and streaming data within these source connectors, which are out of the box connectors? So,
Are there any
all are
batch?
streaming, or
Sorry, can you please explain me one use case so that I can able
yeah,
to
I'm
understand?
asking, are there separate connectors for batch and streaming data, or we can achieve both of them with these out of the box connectors provided by AEP?
Are there any batch and streaming data? For streaming data, so for streaming data, we use HTTP API. So for batch data, so we can able to use this connectors. Yes, you are valid. Your point is valid. So for the streaming data, we use the Adobe HTTP API function where we will be adding the data. Yeah, I hope I have cleared your question. But in my project, there is no streaming of the data. We are connecting through Fivetran in order to optimize the cost of Adobe server calls. So we are doing the external ETL mechanism in order to optimize the cost. Adobe will charge a bomb if you are doing the ETL jobs in Adobe Experience. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. This also comes into the best practice. If you are looking for the cost optimization as a practice, and then you don't want Adobe to send lakhs and lakhs of rupees to your account management, do the ETL job or the extract, transform, load operation. So instead of doing the extract, load and transform, use the extract, transform and load operation in AEP, such that it will not hit your server call uses or the data profile uses. Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is for the account team, not for you who are doing that. Let us take 1 minute of break and then start with the destination, if there are no doubts. These data flows and accounts key pairs I will be explaining when we are coming into the configuration part. Okay. As of now, you need to know this UI part. So I will come in a step-by-step fashion to make you understand. Okay. So maybe I will be little bit slow than others, but once you give me the heads up only, I will be going into the next session, next stage. Yeah. Any doubts?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. 10 seconds break, then I'll start with the destinations. Yeah. Next comes into the destinations. Okay. See, your organization has configured lot of sources. You are getting lot of things into this mechanism, and you are not you are not what we call. So you have connected to all the sources. Yes, it's good that you have connected, and then you have to do all kinds of a data analysis and mapping, and then you need to send that data to somewhere else, right? So you need to send that data to somewhere else. So what this destination model will be doing is that, so I will be creating a dashboard view of the destination that I want to send it to. For example, say, 1 second. That NFM accounts and B2B, Alex accounts, and I am using B2B prod. So destinations are something where you will be sending the data uh, to some other place or a dashboard view, wherever you want to do it. Generally, yeah. So generally, it is like, so you will be configuring the data, what we call your own view, and then you will be sending the data to some other destination. So which acts as that, like, so I am sending the web host data to some other external source or ETL mechanism to external source, or I want to send it to the Tableau environment or any other dashboarding mechanism. So use the destination, right? So such that you will be seeing the what is the status of that, what is the status of your request, whether your data is transferred to that, or else whether your data is in your system, or else what is the success rate of the propagation. So that one you will be seeing in the destination. Destination is a dashboard view where you will be seeing whether your configuration is right or wrong, right? And in order to configure the data, okay, in order to configure your dashboard view, you can use n number of things from the catalog. Okay, n number of connections from the catalog, and you can use from the catalog. So you can able to use n number of this thing. Either you can able to connect the accounts, or either you can able to connect to the catalog and then create an account, right? or either the general way of using it is we will be using already we have these browse functions where we will be creating all kinds of this thing. So for example, say B2B audience. So our organization predefined destinations model that is already built. Uh, so we will be utilizing the pre-existing data flows in the destination, and then we will be activating, and then we will be seeing the whether our data is going in the right fashion or not. Yeah. I hope I am clear, or any other doubts. Hello. Destinations are something like whether you have configured it right, to which destination that my data should flow, or it should go into that, whether what is the connection of that, and you need to configure your data, you need to configure your destination accordingly. Any doubts in that, or are you understanding or not understanding this? For
Yes,
example, say if I want to send the data, okay, if I want to send the data to somewhere in data landing zone, okay, that means that my client has some kind of a he has Azure data lake, okay, he has some kind of a Azure data lake. I'll be setting up this Azure data lake from the setups, okay, and I'll be sending the data by means of the workflows that are being redefined. Okay, I will be taking the URL from him, and I will be taking the principal ID, and I will be taking the service provisional ID, and then I will be configuring this accordingly. I will be sending the data whichever it required. On that data, I will be sending the data to the destination whichever it is configured. Understood?
Yes, just one. When you have the access or the lab setup, you are going to show us the demo, right? You'll
Yes, I need
play it.
your I need your platforms. What your platforms are using? For example, say you are using the AWS, or either you are using the Azure dataset. I need a test ID from your side so that I can able to configure here the service principal key, tenant ID, and all other information, and then I will send that data to your platform. Is that
Okay, yes, we'll
fine?
discuss
Yeah.
internally and then we'll let you know. Yeah.
Because if that is costly, I cannot able to pay from my personal pocket. So I will ask the client to give
Yes.
me the tenant IDs
Yeah.
and other things. Yeah, yeah. I don't know whether that will be chargeable or not, but I request for the client to provide me in that configuration where they want to. For example, say if they want to go for any ID like Amazon Kinesis. Okay, the client has to set up it and then give me the configuration so that I can able to do it, because I don't know that that kind of an integration. Others are managing that. uh, Even I will ask that configuration from the platform owner, and I'll be sending the data. Yeah, that's not my core expertise, so that's why I'll be asking you. As of now, what I can able to show you is if it is a local like the Excel file or something likewise, so I can able to do it over here. 1 minute. So I'll be asking you on like where is that? Yeah, yeah, I can use the SFTP, and then I can able to show it in terms of Adobe that you are asking, right? So I can show it in the SFTP, and rest of the things I don't know, like the platform owners will give me the configuration. So I request for platform owners to give me a test configuration so that I can send the data. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope
okay.
I am clear, right? Yeah. Now, you learned about the sources and destination, right? Okay, first of all, I would like to understand what is data injection. What is data injection? Anybody, anyone, what is data injection? In general way, in SQL, if you know the SQL, so data injection, anybody? Sorry?
It's just a
Anybody,
process
anybody?
of, with- yeah, so it's a process of collecting and importing the data from outside to the platform. It's just a simple process to get the data into the system.
Okay. Any other views? Anyone?
So we need to create a job to get data into the system from various data sources like Adobe S3 bucket or SFTP. So whatever the sources are, so we need to create a job to get data ingested. So this is data ingestion, and it may have various steps, maybe cleansing, mapping of schemas to the out of the box HTML schemas, and then creating data sets, and then creating a profile, then creating lookalike models. All these steps may be part of data ingestion.
Any other view? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Anyone?
Hi, Pavan. It is like collecting the data from various sources and storing into a single schema or single means in a DB, maybe like that.
Okay. So you understand what is, okay, I'll explain you in a generic view. Okay. So it is a kind of a collection or the process of importing the data files, okay, by applying the ETL transformation, extract, transform and load, or ELT transformation, extract, load and transform. So by applying that, so we can able to use the database for the storage. So what you see in the outer is the raw data, okay, or pre-processed data. For example, say if you are using the any other mechanism like AWS, okay, AWS system data is different than AEP system. So in AEP, so we use the processing mechanism, and then we are setting up date, and then we are doing the analysis. So here also the same, okay. Data injection is a process of collecting and importing the data files from various sources into a database for storage. So collect that AEP as a database, and then we are collecting from the data source, and then the goal of the data injection is to clean and store the data in a consistent centralized repository, right? The goal is to whatever the data that you are doing, we are doing all the kind of it RDBMS data or whatever the database is, we are trimming the data, we are applying the data cleansing process, and then we are supplying that to the AEP in order to store it to the central repository, which we can able to use it in within the organization, right? From multiple different sources, we will be importing the data, and we will be storing the data for this data storage and process and analysis. So is the main intention of the data injection. Okay. Any doubts on the official definition? Now Okay, so you mentioned that, okay, so you are saying that, okay, data injection as a mechanism. So you have said lot of things, Pavan. I could not able to understand, okay, the external mechanisms. I have Excel files, lot of injections in Amazon or something. Just don't think about the technical jargon, okay? As an RTCDP function, okay, you need to understand where whatever the data is, okay, you need to have four kind of a layer. One is the mapping function, and then the creation function, and create next is the import function. You need to know this only three functions in the data injection process. One is the mapping function. Whenever you are mapping, for example, say there are two Excel files, right? Okay, I'll be explaining you in a general. Okay, there are two Excel files which contain lot of data. Okay, and then you have lot of data which you have a primary key. Okay, now what you will be doing in Excel file, you will be using the VLOOKUP, right? You will be using the VLOOKUP, right? Exactly. I hope you are understanding my point. When you are mapping the different sources, okay, you are using the VLOOKUP to get the extract of the data and then map the data. Is my general example working for you? Map function is something like, it is as general as using the VLOOKUP in Excel file. You will be
Okay.
mapping that. Yeah, so you will be mapping that whatever the schema that you will be writing, so you will be mapping that whatever the Excel file that you have in a CSV format. For example, say you have downloaded the data from the Amazon Kinesis, just you will be having a mapping function. For example, say if I am doing the mapping function, so I will be launching that, and then I will be extracting the data whatever the size fields are there, and I will be utilizing that in terms of that. For example, say here, this is prod mechanism, sorry. I'm sorry, I should not show you prod. Yeah, so I'll be selecting the data set, which data set that I have to get it into that, and I will be utilizing that. Generally this will be done uh, in prior to getting the data from that to the XDM schema. Okay, so some of the gentlemen has asked me, okay, ETL jobs, okay, whether RTCDP can able to do that. Yes, that may depends upon the organization to organization. In my project, we have to do that by using the workflows that is already pre-built in the Adobe. There are two mechanisms: using of the workflows that are built by the Adobe. Next is using of the Fivetran, okay, where I will be developing the ETL jobs and then connecting it to the sources and then getting the data. So generally, in order to optimize that cost, so we will be using the sources, and then we are doing the ETL jobs in some other mechanism, and then pulling the data into Adobe. So here, if you are utilizing the workflows, uh, then the ETL jobs will also be configured in the Adobe environment, which adds some XYZ dollars to the billing. Yeah, so that's why um, we are forced to do that as a best practice, utilizing that. And whatever the data is there, so we will be using the workflows, and then we can able to do it from here more in detail in the practical session, right? And now the second thing is, okay, so you mentioned that, okay, so you have the data injection model, and you need to know how to create the database, right? You need to know the how to create a data set from the schema, or you can able to create the data set from the CSV file. Okay, it is like select star from, and then you will be creating the database, create CUD operations, CRUD operations. just like that in SQL. So these are employed on this RTCDP platform. You can do the mind map in between the outer general example plus RTCDP concept, so that you will be remembering that for the long term perspective. So generally what I am trying to fetch is, as a beginner, you need to know how to create the database and how to do that the CSV file. Now comes into the question whether SQL is essential for the job. Yes, basic SQL is essential in order to do the job in a better fashion, right? So basic SQL is essential in order to do the RTCDP job, but it depends upon the project to project. And if you are well versed in SQL, then you are an advanced user. And if you have only the basic knowledge, stick to this CURD operations, CURD operations, that is create, update, CURD. Anybody tell about the R?
Read.
Sorry, read operations. And D, anybody?
Delete.
Delete. And what is the difference in between the delete function and then the truncate function?
Delete,
Anybody?
I guess we can delete. I guess we can delete a specific value, as well as for the truncate, we can delete like whole records.
Yeah, okay. What is the difference between the drop and then the alter and truncate? What is the main difference in between the three functions?
For the drop, I guess we can drop the table from the schema. Like there
Okay,
is no
yes,
existence for the table. And for the
mhm,
alter, we can change the like the column's name or length, like that. Alter the table
yes.
or add new fields in the table.
Yes, sure. Okay, so as it is a basic, in order to understand in a better fashion, so these CURD operations are most efficient. Whatever I have asked in last couple of minutes are essential when you are performing any kind of a job in AEP. This basic is needed uh, in apart from the platform that you are working on. Yeah. So now coming into the customer. Okay. Can you define what is a customer? What is the difference between customer, accounts, and prospects? Anybody? Basic definition. What is the difference in between customer, accounts, and prospects?
Prospects are the visitor on which are having a great propensity to buy our products,
Hmm.
and
Accounts.
customers are people who have already converted.
Okay. Accounts.
Accounts account people who have purchased the product, as well as they have opted for further communication, and they have a proper account creation over the.
Okay. See, first of all, we have to understand, okay, the kind of a functionality in CDP, okay, when it comes to the significant use cases of how it is getting mapped. Okay, now coming into the back to the basics. Okay, don't think about this for a minute. Now come into the back to the basics, where we are coming under the data collection. Okay, so first, when the data is collected, okay, suppose a visitor came into the website, okay, like he has came into the website, he has came into the CRM, okay, he has visited my website, he has came into my store. he has viewed, he has done some kind of a purchase, or else he has done some kind of an event, he has done some kind of an actionable items on my website. I'm talking in the web language, okay, web analytics language. Okay, now comes into the data streams. Okay, now comes into the streams. Okay, so what are data streams? Like the data which is collected, the data which is collected, whatever the platform is, either it may be Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, whatever the data platform is, either it may be the segment CDP or anything. Okay, so this data collection, once the data is collected, okay, once the data is collected, what it does is, so it will be sending the data, okay, by the kind of a stream data. Okay, two types of a streaming. For example, say if 10 people came into the store today, okay, I can send this out of 10. Okay, two widgets are being converted. That means that they have bought the product X. Okay, and another widget called one widget has came into the website, just he has left off for 10 seconds. Consider these two events that he has done. So Ram and Sham came into the website, and so they have purchased an iPhone. Okay, and Ravi came into the website today, and then he has dropped down. Okay, Ram and Sam came into the website, purchased iPhone today. Okay, Ravi came into the website, and then he had dropped down, and then the rest 7 people are anonymous visitors. We don't know their names, or we don't know their profile ID, whatever it may be. Okay, now talking about the anonymous visits. Okay, they may be coming into that, and then they have not done that. They have hit on the bounce, and then they have hit on the X mark, and then they have left off. They are anonymous visitors. We don't know anything about them. All right, and now that this actionable interface comes into the picture, where the data collection is getting tracked by Adobe Analytics or Google Analytics, whichever the analytics mechanism is there, and then it collects the data, okay, as a batch. Okay, Ram has entered and Ravi has entered, they have purchased. Okay, it is an event based tracking. Okay, when Ravi has entered and then he has clicked on it, okay, it is session based tracking. Okay, now that these two events are being created, and then we are proposing a data stream, okay, as a batch injection method. Batch is that, so at a regular chunks of the interval, you will be sending the data into the data stream, right? Batch in the sense, at a regular intervals, you will be sending that data into the data streams, right? So this stream of the data, as like you are you are sent the data, so you will be configure, and then it will be sent into the data streams as an ETL job. When coming into the data streams, okay, what it happens, okay, it contains the ID that will be created, and then it will have all the attributes that he has, what he has done in the previous instance. Okay, what kind of a things that he has done. Okay, in terms of that, uh, what is the Adobe ID that he has done, or what kind of a profile ID he has visited, what kind of an SKU that is taking care. Okay, so all this data will be taken, and then so it will be mapped, it will be mapped against the schemas that are there in the AEP. It will be mapped that are there, the schemas that are already pre-built in a structure, uh, or the structure will be mapped according to that, and then it will be visitor. For example, say it is same like, okay, I have the data, and I have the profile ID and name and time, SKU bought, price. Okay, these are the variables that I might be configuring in the data streams. Okay, and then whenever a new user comes into the visitor, okay, a ID will be there, or the web analytics ID, whatever it may be, VID. Okay, visitor ID will be created, for example, so 123, visitor ID, and if the name is configured in the web analytics, it will take that, or else it will not take that. And then what is the time? Okay, what is the time that that we can able to take? And then so what I am taking is that, so in this Excel file, consider this is an AEP environment where it contains this as a schema, this table as a primary functionalities, right? This as a schema where the data will be injected at the regular intervals. If the data is injected at the regular intervals, that is called the batch injection. Streaming injection in the sense as it is. Okay, once the Ravi came into the website, he has done something, he has closed it down, then what, like the VID will be there, and then it will be directly closed, right? So it will track likewise. So what my point of saying is, okay, in the data streams, okay, there are two types of an injection. Why I am telling this, batch injection and stream injection, in the sense you will be working in the sources and destination, next customer profile, and these are the basics in order to understand that injection mechanism, what kind of an injection mechanism that we need to apply for each of the use case. So that's why I have taken a minute to explain you about the data management and then the practice of the data, how that is getting flown into the CJ, what we call AEP. Have anybody has doubts on the data flow or true data streams? Anyone?
So you mean there are two streams, data streams. One is the batch, the other is the stream API, HTTP API, right? So in nutshell, if I say the batch stream is getting the data on regular intervals, and in streaming for the HTTP APIs, it's on the real-time basis. Is the correct understanding?
Yes. So there are two types. That is what in handling the data, there are two types. Okay. So in general context, as per Adobe, it is mentioned as it has the large volume. I have told you for just three events. One is Ravi, Sham, and another one. So if it is at the larger scale, then the batch injection will be termed as. So um, it is like large volumes of the data will be transferred at a time. Large volumes of data are transferred at a time at an scheduled intervals. So which is termed as a batch processing, and the streaming is something like the real time that we can able to get as is. So that is the definition that I can able to say. Yeah, answering to your specific scenario, yes, you are right. Whatever you have mentioned is right.
Okay, so the example for the streaming HTTPS API would be like card abandon. So as soon as a card is abandoned, we may require a workflow to be triggered to address it. So that can be through an API. But for certain events like a person who is an anonymous user or who has just visited a website and he hasn't abandoned the cart, he was just going through. So that can be processed through batch.
Repeat the question, please.
I'm just trying to give an example of where we can use a batch and the APIs. So for
Yes,
the
you
real
are right.
time
You are
scenario,
right.
like for the cart abandon, we can use a API because we want to target those person on the real time basis. But for some customers like who's an anonymous user who just visited the website and just scroll through, just search something, he hasn't added anything in the cart. So those can be through the batch processing because those are not very important to be done on a real time basis.
Yes, exactly. So whatever the important is are the streamlit functions that we use. Okay, it has to be in the streaming data. Okay, because
Right.
it has
APIs.
added added complexity. But when it comes to the batch processing, all the batch of the data will be scheduled at the regular intervals. So there will be some kind of a delay, but the output will be and then the decision making will be on the batch of the data, right? So here, as a best practice, all the organization will be using this batch processing in order to save the time on complexity. Instead of doing it for one entity, they want to use it at the larger scale so that the cost will be coming down in the batch ID processing. Yeah,
Cost as
as
well
a
as the
best practice.
performance, the system
Performance, sorry,
performance also.
system performance. Sorry, yeah, sorry, yeah. So everything I'm tying with the cost, it is system performance. Sorry, yeah, I correct myself. Yeah. Uh, yeah, now that you have understood the batch processing and then the streamline processing, do you have any doubts or concerns with respect to the batch processing and streaming processing? Anyone? Because I will be using in all these things these terms. So I request you to take a minute break and then ask any doubts if you have, or else if you want me to repeat, so I can repeat once again. Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
The
Thank
team
you.
is used to with these terms. That's okay.
Okay. So now that, okay, you are mentioning about this thing, you need to know about the pros and cons of the data for streamings. Okay, remember this. Okay, when you are using the batch processing, it will be added on simplicity, and it will be and resource and efficient, and the cons will be like, it will be like you cannot able to do the immediate changes. Only after certain intervals of changes we can do that. In this criteria, my platform is accessed with the B2B function, so it takes around 8 hours as a contractual engagement in order to do the batch processing for 8 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes and 4 hours. For some clients, I am using 4 hours. From some clients, I am using 30 minutes. For some clients, I am using 8 hours. Okay, which is an event stream. So for event stream, they want it in after 24 hours. So likewise, according to the use case of the business and then the urgency of the business, so we have configured by playing with the Adobe consulting, and then we have configured according to that, and then it is completely custom implementation. Whatever you are seeing on this had a customer parameter, and it is as per the business identity purposes, and then according to that only our configuration is configured. Yeah. Now coming into this scope, okay, which I need to understand. Okay, so connections you have understood, and customers, accounts, and prospect. Now, whatever you have told me in the previously, customer, accounts, and prospects. Now, add data streams into that and then modify the definition. Anybody?
So those would be the transactions then in that case, right? If I add the data streams to those accounts and customers.
Yes. Can you please modify the sentence? Whatever you said is right. Okay, now you modify as per the data streams added on into that.
So data
Just
stream
map
would
it.
be kind of the flows. For example, a person goes to the website, he make an purchase, so he is a customer, or maybe earlier he was a profile or a prospect, and he makes a purchase. So once he had done the purchase, then the transactional data flows as an event from, say, Hybris or the website to the AEP, and that is being captured. So the we are getting the transaction data in terms of the SKU, the price, and all those transactional details.
Okay. So let 1 minute, sorry. So see the customer, I'll explain you in simple words. So generally customer in AEP is termed as a person who is injected into the data by means of a stream and then has an connected experience, whatever the experience is. Okay, whatever he might be browsing, or else he is doing some kind of an action perform, or else he might be having some kind of an stitching variable, or else he will be having an what we call he has bought the sales, whatever the connected experience is. Okay, we are mapping that uh, within the customer flow. Okay, whatever the data stream id, whatever the batch stream id, or else either it is a real stream id, when it comes to the AEP as an alone, okay, is termed as a customer that has, in simple terms, like he has connected experience or not. That is, either he may be done the sales, or he might not be a returning customer or something likewise. Okay, which is connected to the experience. Okay, now I will be coming into the HTM model after these three sentences later on. Okay, when he has connected with the experience, okay, that is called the customer in AEP. In general words, I'm talking about the general words, right? So in terms of the Adobe definition, so the data, I hope I am clear on this, or any disturbances in what I have told.
No, no, clear.
Yes. So when it comes to that, so whatever the customers that we are, and it is connected to experience of the customer, whatever he does. Okay, either he might be doing some kind of an action, whether he is doing some kind of a sales, or whether he is doing personalization, or else whatever it is. So it is like customers in real time, or customers in AEP is termed as which are connected to the, which has done some action items on something. Okay, is termed as a customer. Next, accounts. Now stitch that with the accounts data streams with account. Yes, anyone? You're clear on customer, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah. Now accounts.
So accounts
What
would
are
be
accounts?
the categorization of those customers, means whether this customer belongs
Yes.
to manufacturing, banking, or any domains.
Yes. So as per Adobe or Adobe AEP, okay, when Doug, when he took the class, he told me this example. Doug from, he is the data architect of Adobe. Okay, he told me this example, like, okay, in AEP, it is pretty simple. Think it as an organization where you are an employee. Okay, you customer is termed as an employee, right? Which department you are working. Okay, he's termed as an accounts, right? Which department or which team you are working, map it to the accounts. And now coming into the prospects. Who are prospects?
But these details are being captured in Adobe. Means it might be possible that I do not, I being a customer or a profile, I would not like to mention my department.
Sorry.
It can be relevant in B2B scenarios, but in B2C scenarios,
In
it will.
B2B, see, yes, in B2B scenarios, it is completely different. Okay, in B2C, it is completely different, right? I'm just explaining. Okay, this is not a relevant use case for you. Okay, but in B2B, it is the completely use case scenario. We will be using demand based plugin in order to fetch this. Yeah, so yeah, it might be different. That's not what I am saying. Okay, it might be applicable to you or else it might not be applicable to you, but it's my job is to ensure that I have to explain you whole holistic view. And then when it comes to the practice, I'll be trimming whatever it is required. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So now coming into the prospectus, anybody? Whoa, what is prospectus?
Anyone who is interested in the purchase or in our product is the prospect for us. If he has not done any purchase, he would be a prospect. If he has done any purchase, he would be a customer.
Okay. So in general example or Adobe, so Doug has explained as a prospects where uh, so Doug has explained about the prospects in a simplistic way, okay, where that customer has been your customer, means your company customer, then his profile is created and it will have some kind of an identities that are being created. So more in detail about the prospects, he mentioned that when you are an employee, the specific job ID is created for you that acts as an prospectus. Think as like what is the entity that you are being valued for, and then how it can able to do that. In general context, prospectus is something like you are add-on purchase if you have done some value add to that company or you have bought something from this. So then you are being a prospects. Yeah. Any doubts in this three scenarios?
No, according.
Sorry. Hello. Hello. Hello.
According to my understanding, the prospects are the visitors who have not registered over the website, but yeah, uh, system has provided a ECID to them based on their cookies, um, and they might be interested in some particular product, and they are checking the specifications. They are checking the maybe EMI options over that product. So, in sense of
Potential customer.
B2C, so they are potential customers and they are prospects for us.
Yes. See, I can able to explain you in what you are doing as a job, and then the prospect profiles are something like you are unknown to the leadership team. Okay, for example, say Pavan is accessible only to the higher level management until up to some extent. And when you are at the leadership team or your CEO or CXO will see you as a prospect. All right. So prospect profiles are used to represent the people who have not yet engaged by your company, but you are interested in working with you. Or else if you have done some kind of an expression of interest on some of the project. For example, say whatever you have. Sorry. Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, Pavan, you can continue. I think there was some issue.
Okay, no problem. So prospect profiles are something like, okay, they may not, you may not be knowing that customers. They might be anonymous visitors or whichever the visitor ID is. Okay, and they may not be engaged with this scenario. For example, say Ravi has came into the system. He has just click on the X button on the top. Okay, he's a prospect profile. He wants to do something, but you need to understand by his purchasing behavior, or you need to have some kind of attributes where you can able to do that by utilizing that according to the use case. A profile ID will be created, and then you need to provide some kind of an identity for him, and then you need to do the computation of the attributes. Then only you can able to understand what he is. In specific scenario, Adobe Experience Platform provides the experience that are connected to the stitching customers. Prospect profiles are used to represent the people who are not engaged with your company, but they are interested in your products, or else they want to do something on your product.
Got it, yeah.
Yes. So as like in the example Doug has mentioned, okay, you are interested to work for Samsung or R&D team, but the leadership team, CEO doesn't know you that Pavan is working for Samsung. Okay, you are interested to work in, but the CEO will be seeing you as a prospect. You are interested to work. Your manager knows you as like an account, like customer. Account, what we call your manager to your is an accounting relationship, like customer relationship. Your CEO to you, it is a prospect relationship. So that is the example that I want to stitch in.
Perfect. Got it.
Yes.
We got it.
Okay. I hope
Pavan, I
everybody.
think, yeah, we can, I think, stop here. It's 4:30.
Yes,
More than
yes, yes.
4:30.
That's what I am trying to say. Yes. So any doubts before we move on to the practical scenario?
I think the team will be having more doubts when we go into the practical session. So it was all theory today. So maybe tomorrow onwards, there would be more
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, sure. As the time is consumed or booked, okay, I would like to take only 2 minutes of your time and complete the things in a professional way, and then whatever the things. So today I want to explain about the data management also, so that will be taken as a backlog for tomorrow. Yeah.
What I will suggest is maybe we moved into much details today. So let's stick to the timing. In case if something is left, we can keep it for the last day. In case it
No,
doesn't hamper the
actually,
flow.
we have taken time in order to explain the overall. So what I have planned in this 3 hours is like I want to complete this entire UI part today itself. Yeah. So as the time has consumed for overall planning and then this thing, so let's stick to the timing as a part from tomorrow onwards. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Pavan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.